check this out. You're not going to believe it. Well, you might already know, but it was news to me. Google never, ever forgets. Everything you Google, Google is a corporation, and everything that you Google, Google keeps. And they give that information, they sell that information to other people, companies that you have Googled that it's in reference to. So if you're Googling porno, then porno industry companies, people that own have the sites and things like that, or toys or whatever, sex toys or sexual perverts, anything, they get your information that you're interested in that. So then you get what's called spam, because once that information is sold, my glasses are crooked because I only got one side. Look, I never know what happens to the arms. So Google actually gives your information, sells it, and passes it on, and then they keep your information because they own it. So if you're Googling STDs, pharmaceutical companies get your information, or companies that sell condoms or whatever. If you're Googling school districts, then different organizations with school districts you'll see in your spam boxes. If you're Googling clothes, new boots, you want to see about Christmas, what's to sell for what you want to buy during Christmas time. Maybe your Christmas ornaments, maybe clothes, boots. Maybe you want to look up different types of lipstick and who has the best colors, or you want to look up whatever you look up. If you want to look up, you know someone with a disease, or you think you have one, so you want to look up the disease or the symptoms. The companies that are related to what you're Googling get your information, and then either it gets through to your spam, or it comes in spam if you already have it set up where your spam goes somewhere else. But it still actually comes to you. Google never forgets. Not only does Google not forget, Google has all of your information. They know who you are that's doing the lookup. So whatever you're looking up, they know it's you and me and what we're looking up. They know about our lives. If you have pets, about your children, whatever you're Googling, they know about it. They know what you are interested in either at that moment, or that's what you're interested in. This is how hackers find out your codes and your passwords. Now this is a generation where nothing but hackers are being born, because first off, these young kids now, they know everything about computers. A 2-year-old could probably teach us more than what we know right now about all the different things that you can do on a computer. So now Google keeps your information. Can you imagine? They have your phone number, your address, because these are things that you had to give and put in order to get even email. So Google owns that whole thing. So there you go. So as you're Googling things, not only are they selling our information, they know where you are. They actually know where we are. They have a GPS on all of us. They know what we like, what we don't like, what may be wrong with us, why we're Googling this, why we're Googling that, and then all your information is kept by Google. Google never forgets. Very scary for this generation, especially later on in this century. 100 years from now, when you and I won't even be here, imagine what's going to be happening. I'm sure, just as sure as I'm standing here, that human beings will be barcoded when they are born. I'm positive of that, because I remember when barcodes were on, when they first started. I remember when there were no barcodes, when you used to pick up an item and the price was on it, and then they began the barcoding. So it won't be no need for your driver's license or your credit cards on you, or your or anything, because even now, right now, they have smart houses, smartphones. The smart house, you can't get in your house. You don't need a key. There are some cars, smart cars already. There are cars about to get ready to drive themselves. So I just watched the other day a program called Kept Woman on Lifetime, if you get a chance to watch it. Where they had a smart house, like she would just, from her iPhone, like when she need reminders for grocery lists, her refrigerator already was Wi-Fi. with a screen, television screen and computer screen on her refrigerator. So from home, everything that she was trying to remember, some reminders, she would send it to her refrigerator computer, where her nanny would see what she needed to pick up from the store. I mean, all of this is happening where you can just walk in your house, your whole house, you can have your whole wall set up as Wi-Fi now. People don't need screens like they used to need anymore. So in the end of this century, I can't even imagine what this world is going to be like. So I just wanted to let you know that, whatever you're Googling, no matter where you're at, from your phone, your computer, your iPad, all your Google information, Google has it. Google never forgets. Okay, I just wanted to give you some entertainment news real quick. Mendices, if you watch Love and Hip Hop, New York, married to Yandy. You saw they got married last year. Well, Mendices got 7.5 years in the federal penitentiary. He had been selling drugs in New York and New Jersey since 2008 up until 2012. I think that was the years of the indictment. So he's going away. He's got to turn himself in very soon. Also, I wanted to talk about the most searched person on the internet this year on Yahoo was BOBBI KRISTINA. People wanted to know most about her. Frank Sinatra's would have been 100 years old this month, and the Grammy concert they will be having on television this Sunday, if you get a chance to check it out. Sinatra died in 1998, and also in Hoboken, where he was born, they're having a lot of festivities there as well in celebration of his life. Yesterday was December 1st, actually, was the day that Richard Pryor, the greatest comedian in the world, it was his birthday, day before yesterday. Also, I wanted to talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, who's the owner of Facebook, him and his wife just had a baby. He's worth $46.5 billion. I said billion with a B, not an M. $1 billion because of his daughter being born. A light went off in his head. He's realizing what this world is coming to himself and the technology that's out here. We have the climate problems around the world. We have wars around the world. Everything has chemicals in it. All of our food is genetically modified. So he decided to, him and his wife are donating almost all of their money to research, science, technology, and anything that'll help this world in this century and the next century for his child. So they have donated $45 billion to all types of charities. And I said billion, $45 billion. Also, I wanted to talk about this crazy zoo in Copenhagen. Yesterday, a guy, 21 years old, he jumped into the moat where the polar bears were, the zookeeper, in front of visitors. He was a visitor. So they had to distract the polar bear to get him out before he was mauled to death by a 1,500-pound polar bear. And they got him. But this is the same zoo, Copenhagen Zoo, last year, that a guy jumped into the Siberian tiger pit and was mauled to death and killed. And this is the same zoo where it was a big controversy all over the world last year, where this zoo had killed one of the giraffes there. They said because of inbreeding, and they cut him up and fed him to the lions in front of visitors. This zoo has also said they have no intention of making the zoo any safer from nutcases that decide that they want to just jump into the moats with the animals. Real quick, I hope you can still hear me because of the wind. In the Bronx, in New York, some sanitation workers found some heroin packets buried right above the ground where it was able to be seen. They found it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this Bronx park, actually, the sanitation workers said that they actually find decapitated animals in this park all the time as well. So it must have been somebody who was trying to bury the drugs, and maybe somebody was coming, so they just left it where it was. We're going to come back to it because I'm sure they wanted to bury it. It was so close to the ground, to the surface, that sanitation workers found it. Also, Pablo Guzman, remember if you watch Narcos, go to Netflix, watch Narcos, so good. He buried billions of dollars in the ground, but they buried that money all the way down in the ground. They didn't care who was around. I think I touched on everything for you guys right now. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say. You know, it's a shame because they got a call at the police station in Oklahoma that a donkey, it was like a baby donkey, was on a highway, was going to get killed. He went out to the highway, stopped the traffic, and was able to get the donkey. I don't know how he did it, but he coaxed the donkey into the back seat of the police car. Once he put the donkey in the back seat of the police car, a lady called the station and said that she would take the donkey if nobody said it was theirs because she has a farm or whatever. So the police officer actually took the donkey from the house. Now here's the cop who will take the donkey and rescue a donkey when these people, the cops in Chicago, shot 16 in the middle of the street, unarmed. And then here's another person those 6 cops who in St. Louis who put Freddie Gray in a car and just let him die. They killed him. They broke his neck. And then here's another cop who'll save a donkey. This is black donkey lives matter. What happened to Black Lives Mattering? Donkey lives mattering. I'm not putting down the cop who saved the donkey because I do love animals. I'm just making a comparison about here's a cop who actually get a donkey in the backseat of his car, but other cops who will just gun down human beings. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe. I know the Midwest has terrible weather. Wyoming and Idaho, Colorado, terrible. You guys be safe. Here in Florida, 83.